Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers, wherever you are in the world watching us, right from Nairobi, the capital city of Africa and East Africa and the Great Lakes region. Thank you very much, those in Khartoum, in Cairo, in Abuja, in Casablanca, Tripoli, Cape Town, Rwanda, Kinshasa, Accra, the city of Pan-Africanism. Good afternoon. This show is a show of People's Court. It's the People's Court. It's where we bring issues that are outstanding, very different from what we had in the morning or in each day from any part of Africa. We bring this issue to your table before you. We discuss and find the solutions to some of the problems that Africa is facing. Today, our topic is very simple, and I would like us to look at the country called Kenya. Is corruption affecting Kenya's stability, unity? Is Kenya drifting apart? That's the simple question. Is Kenya drifting apart as a result of corruption? or the result of war against corruption. Many Kenyans have asked, when they read newspapers and they see different institutions speaking with double tongue, different institutions giving their own declarations, spokesman coming up to clarify, another person clarifies from a different angle. Is Kenya drifting apart as a result of the war against corruption? The answer is yes. Sitting here and not saying the truth does not help me at all. The signs that I see today are the signs that I saw in 2006, 2007, when the country was not talking in the same direction. Today, from the time President Uhuru declared the war against corruption and said he needed an audit, a life audit on every individual in the Republic of Kenya, this country has been shifting, drifting apart. There are those who would like to have a life audit, lifestyle audit. There are those who are opposed to the lifestyle audit. To audit, to find out how you amassed your wealth, how you had those billions of dollars and billions of shillings stashed away in banks across the world when you were as poor as a church mouse. Remember, church mouse watches the bishops count the money, but it is never given any part of the money until it comes down to bite the money, to eat it at night. And by the way, the church mouse does not eat church money. There is no incident even through the Vatican that you have found the church mouse has eaten the church money or bits of the paper money that is being given to God. Today, the war on corruption has drifted Kenya apart. Everything that you touch, be it the maize scandal, NCPD, KPC, KPLS, Health Ministry, Kenyatta Hospital, this war has divided the people. The people of Kenya seem to be divided on which direction they should take. The people of the Rift Valley talk about their maize. Rain is coming now. Their maize has not been bought. The people in other parts of the country talk about the hunger, the famine, the hunger, the drought. Now the rains have come. Is this country putting itself together or is drifting apart on political lips of the people of Kenya? We seem to have forgotten where we came from. 2007, 2008, we were torn to pieces apart. We brought back this country to togetherness. Today, we seem to be going the same direction. Parliament shooting down a constructive engagement everywhere in the world, whether in Uganda, whether in Tanzania. The people are registering their people to the current systems. Everywhere, Ugandans, including some of us, have been told to go to embassies. If you are ever a Ugandan born, to register for your ID or your number. Passports are being changed. We now have East African passports. Those with passports, old ones will expire. Now, everybody is trying to say a story as if this is only happening in Kenya when people tell others don't go and register. What has caused this type of politics? I told you much earlier that Machiavellian politics seem to be surrounding these issues, cliffhanger politics that we see of cliffhanging, people falling, almost falling and coming back. Who has planted this type of politics in Kenya? Who has brought Kenya to this type of drift? You see today, when you touch something that is for the president, you see the number of people coming on your wall telling you, close it. We see the newspapers today in Kenya. MPs vote to kick out Huduma Number Farm. Is it because they did not eat? Is it because so and so did not have a share? Or was it a consent? Did someone have consent? Who is planting these seeds that are breaking this nation on a daily basis? Shock report on death even as Uhuru goes for more. The type of stories that are being planned and supplied to the media added to fire that is already raging between politicians who have ambition. We have forgotten again where we were. It's this same ambition that tore us apart, and we exploded in 2007, 2008. It is this type of statements, accusations, undercurrents, divisions, intrigue, witch hunt that has brought this nation to where we are today. It is this type of suspicion that we should stand up as mature Africans, leaders of this country and this continent, to condemn actions that are bringing us, taking us to where we were when we left and we reconciled. We are looking forward for a reconciliation, a building of bridges that can bring us a redemption strategy. Can Kenya embrace a redemption strategy? Accountability, reconciliation, restitution, reparation. Can Kenya do that? Can Kenya tell the truth? Can we tell the truth? Is the war on corruption drifting us apart? Yes, it is. It's taking people away from each other. The people who wanted to unite seem to be running away. What is holding the center and not holding the center? I want people watching me this evening to understand what is not holding the center. At the center of this war of drifting apart, there is corruption, there are scandals, there are billions and billions of shillings. You remember, in Kenya, people don't talk about millions of shillings anymore. We are talking every scandal that comes our way has got billions of shillings that you and I would not have to lay hands on. But these scandals, what do they show to international community? What do they bring to us? Do they dent our image? MPs want DCI to probe key PSS. Public accounts puts on spot officers who have failed to produce crucial transaction documents. Accountability in governance can create a war. Accountability in governance, in politics, in any institution can create tension. Those who fail to account become enemies of those who are accounting. And those who are accounting become enemies of those who have not accounted. Can Kenya hold together? Is there hope to hold together? If so, which direction do we take? Have we learned lessons from the past? Are we not able to trust our president, the President of the Republic of Kenya, to steer this country towards the definition, the destiny that he has put a team that is countering, that is collecting your thoughts that will be put before you, whether there is something that is left out of the 9 points skeleton that was put forward of building of bridges initiative. Let's bring it out so that this beacon of hope of Africa, the beacon of hope of the Great Lakes region, an island of peace among the disaster, the conflicts that we see in Somalia, the conflicts that we see in South Sudan, the renewed tensions that we see in Burundi, the renewed tensions that we see in DRC Congo, the bad governance that we see around the region. Have we not learned enough? Can't we do enough to defend the integrity, the dignity of this nation called Kenya? Is Kenya drifting apart? There is no country in the world that it does not borrow. If the borrowing is the one making everybody annoyed, I would like to say the following. After the Second World War, Britain borrowed. Britain sat down, looked at what they want, taxed its people, built housing, brought about changes, made a firm foundation for this nation called Britain. Today, Winston Churchill, wherever he is, will say, yes, I put up a foundation. The war Prime Minister of Britain put up a foundation of housing, of industrialization, affordable health care, and the manufacturing that we see that has transformed Britain into a peaceful island of development. It is therefore very prudent for the leadership of Kenya to stand up and defend the tenets of why, the tenets of development. Do we have a social contract? Does Kenya have a social contract? Part of the problems of Africa is the social contract, the lack of social contract. The fightings that you see in the streets, the demonstrations that are gathering pace in Mali, the demonstrations that are gathering pace in Sudan, the demonstrations that are gathering silently in Zimbabwe, the demonstrations that people want in Kampala, the demonstrations and alleged counter accusations that are gathering pace against Rwanda, the type of terrorism that we see coming up in Africa, all this come because we lack a social order. There is no social order. There is no country in Africa that has produced a social order that suits its people. Where, show me one country in Africa with a social order where unemployed youth are paid their salaries or their dues or their unemployment benefit as they wait for employment. Are we on that road? Are we doing it? Are we fighting because we don't know what we want to do, or we are fighting to pick power? Do we really need power for the sake of power, or we need power to change the lives of the people? Do we put foundations for a future generation? If you behave badly today, when you are not in power, how will you behave when you get this power? If you are beating people, if you are plotting to beat people, to kill people, to maim people, how will you behave if you are in power? Is Africa, is Kenya drifting apart? Those who need a lesson can see the lessons of countries that have fallen apart. A bad democracy civilian is better than a good military operation. Ask me, I will tell you, from the year 1971, our country, Uganda, has never had stability. We can push back to 1965 or 66, because all these events in Uganda happened when I was already taken out of my mother's care in the womb. 1966 crisis saw troops in my own village running into the forest. Luckily enough, it is our forest that has always helped even Museveni to capture power. So where I come from is where the forest that Museveni always hides, and he has hidden there to escape the massacres or to escape Idi Amin. We have had history with President Museveni's escape through our forests that link us to Kenya. Therefore, I have been a victim of all this since then. 1971, our country drifted apart in a military coup on 25th January, when some of us were entering senior secondary school, one on the same day that some of us did not know what to do, where to go, how to go, which car to take. It is sad, therefore, when you sit down and tell people the history that you have gone through, the history that can change perceptions, the history that can change, stop a disaster. As usual, a black prophet is never welcome in his own black country or continent. But people in Africa prefer to be lectured to by Trump. They would rather go and listen to Trump, but they would not come to listen to such a discussion. We want your discussion to be based on who are you talking? Who are you as who? We Africans have got this problem of asking, you are talking as who? Yet when a white person comes to address the issue where he has seen Kenya is heading, and yet Kenya had this problem in 2007, the type of talks, rallies arranged, people arranging rallies clandestinely, those saying prayers in form of who? If we are praying for the people, praying for the rain that is coming, praying for everything, yes, but if you are praying to go and say you pray, I want leadership, God at times does not give. Learn from some of us. Many of us here for 34 years have prayed that there must be a change of government in our own countries. But God has not given us the prayer. Not because we are not prayerful, but we pray. God himself has a timetable when he will give us that salvation. However much you try to do it, you might not be able to succeed. You might not succeed. You might not conquer what God has put between you and the barrier. It is therefore important for people to listen to some of us who have got this experience, who have gone through the experience that we talk about. It's better to have a bad civilian government than having an upheaval of violence into your country. Many of us go back to what is drifting Kenya apart. The handshake. For more than 7 years, I have been one of the advocates of a redemption strategy. The people of Kenya had 3 major obstacles, namely lack of a redemption strategy, structural challenges and obstacles, institutional structural challenges, where duplicity of work, duplicity of programs, wastage of resources, ballooning of wage bill, the structures have frustrated any good program that you put in Kenya. The other third factor that has hampered Kenya's way forward is ethnicity, tribal chauvinism. The tribal chauvinism that we see that was reigning in Kenya, each tribe for itself, and Kenya for nobody. People discussed, people centered themselves, people stood, people demanded, and said, we want to divide Kenya. Many experts, including Dr. Ndii, went to the extent of drawing maps to divide this nation. What then divides this nation every day and divides most of African countries? If you look at the events that are taking place, in Sudan, if you leave Sudan the way the people, demonstrators want it to go, Sudan will go Libya anyway. Do we need Libya again? Do we need Libya in Sudan? Do you need the chaos that is in Libya to come to Sudan? Therefore, the handshake was the best redemption, the best medicine, the best philosophy, the best angle, the best factor, the best unit that can now propel Kenya towards the destiny that Kenya has been looking for. It doesn't matter how it was done. It doesn't matter who negotiated it. It doesn't matter who made the idea be known. I believe in my heart that when I talked about the redemption strategy after ICC, when the International Criminal Court arrived here, divided the people of Kenya on tribal basis, picked several of them, took them to International Criminal Court in The Hague. The type of malice behind the selection of these names still haunt Kenyans up to today. The malice that made the names of some few ranking officers and men of this country, put them in a category of murderers to go and face trial, is what brought this country to where it is today. It is that view and that view alone that I want to stick on that point and that point alone, and tell you viewers and those watching me that until Kenya stands up, looks back, and looks at what is making us drift apart, those who schemed to take their friends on a tribal, ethnic basis or on hatred based on their facts must repent, must redempt, must come out and tell the truth. That's why President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta together with the former Prime Minister Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, stood firm on 9th of March 2018 in front of the President's office in Nairobi, made a declaration that they will stand as two Kenyans above the petty differences to unite the warring parties, or the parties that one had won an election, the other one had lost an election. The type of handshake, the type of unity, the type of national awareness, cohesion that we need to bring can deliver Kenya. Until we do that, we can't even borrow millions and millions of dollars and build the roads that we are enjoying today, and do the things that we want to do for our generation. But until we unite as a common country, a country united on the basis of not the height, not the rich, not the poor, but on the height of a common factor, that there is one thing flowing among us, and that is the unity of the blood, that we all cannot disagree. There is nobody who has ever had white blood. I've never seen a person who has black blood. I've never seen a person with green blood. There is always one blood color that has united us, and that is red color. That is the blood color. Whether you cut a Chinese hand, whether you got a British hand, an American hand, Singaporean hand, Malaysian hand, the blood that flows out has never been white. And therefore, it is important as Kenyans to look at these examples and find out what made us drift apart. The handshake itself, the team that is working out clock from one day to the other, is the team that we should wait for. I don't know why people want to run. God has not given anybody a timetable that I'm coming for you today. I'm wondering why everybody in Kenya would like to run faster than even what God has tried to do. We can't compete with God simply because we don't know the timetable. Nobody knows when he will go, when he will come. Nobody knows. It is like a revolution. A revolution has no timetable. It springs, it comes at a time when you don't expect it. Therefore, we must sit down as brothers and sisters to avoid the mistakes that can paralyze the state that you call Republic of Kenya. The mistakes that can paralyze the type of corruption that is embedded in our courts, the type of corruption that is embedded in the ministries, the type of clientele mafiadom. There is mafiadom that is embedded within some people's hearts, those who plot only to look for where the money is. They frustrate even the work of investigative agencies. Why? This is what has drifted Kenya apart. When you look at what is happening, every sector of this country, there is a scandal. Everywhere you turn, another one. When you turn this side, another one. When you look at land compensation, another one. When you look at Raila going to China, another scandal. When you look at Uhuru going to China, a scandal. When you look at Huduma Center or Huduma number, someone has come in to say, no, we know who is in charge. We don't want that company. The Minister of ICT has come out clearly and said there is nothing which is foreign. The rest, except laptops or iPads or whatever they call them, tablets that are doing, were bought. The problem of this, all this problem, and I have told people here, and I hope DCI is listening. The DCI, the biggest problem of Kenya's political mafiadom of corruption lies with the procurement boards. If you ever arrest the procurement board chairman, it is that procurement board, that person who knows which tender, who is going to win it, who is going to bid for it. This is where the corruption starts from. I want to give reasons as to why I think the tendering systems in Kenya is where the corruption lies most. Are the people who are the ones, the cartels, the kingpins lie and rely on the tendering system. There is no way you can know about a laptop or tablet costing the amount of money if you are not on the tender board of the government tendering board. Therefore, DCI, as you focus yourself in different directions, refocus on the tender board. Who is this? Who has manipulated the national tender board? Who are the people, the composition of the tender board? Procurement and the tender boards play a crucial role in either stamping out corruption or increasing corruption. For example, the MPs are raising questions over who tendered what. So who in the tender board went and told the MPs that this thing was not tendered for? There must be somebody. There is a side that is not very happy that they did not supply the materials for the Huduma number. I want to come back to discuss the way forward. Huduma number, electronic passports, national IDs is being done everywhere, all over the world. Every country is trying to get, it's part of a security system to check who is a terrorist and who has no ID, who can enter a border without ID. That if the police find you without that number, then you must be someone who has been in Iraq or Afghanistan or Yemen or Syria. Every time we see our beloved brothers being killed, maimed by terrorists, but when a measure is brought to curb down terrorism, we now tend to say, don't do it. Some people are bringing in fears over this Huduma number. You can have my number. You can have, some of us have got, our data from the eyes. When you reach some airports, someone knows that guy has arrived. It's for your protection. It's for protection, such that nobody can steal your ID and then say you were there when you are not there. Because if you are in that country, then you must have shown your eyes contact on the systems that you have undergone. Viewers, my humble request to my fellow people of Kenya and the countrymen, comrades, folks of Kenya, that Africa needs all of you united. A united nation can prosper. A united nation can move with the strength that you see to conquer all the obstacles that come towards you. You face structural challenges. You face a lack of redemption strategy. You face ethnic, tribal enclaves. Ethnicity has killed the whole moral center. When you touch somebody because he's a fifth, the tribe stands up to say, yo, you are touching our person. When you appoint somebody from a tribe, you say, yo, you are appointing that person, but you have left my tribe. Ethnicity has destroyed most of the parts of Africa. Let's come back and I give the way forward. Thank you.
To be here today to participate with my brothers and sisters in this very important forum when we are reflecting and thinking about our country. When we are thinking about our country, we are thinking about ourselves, our people at home, and the generations to come. Mine is to assure you that we are doing our best as far as investigations are concerned. But at the same time, we do have quite a number of challenges, though they have not reached a point of dispiriting us, or rather demotivating us. We are trying to say that I wish everybody in this war of corruption may come on board. One thing I can say is, even before we go for some investigations outside there, some of the frustrations which really pull us down is some of the strange orders that we receive. Other than even starting the investigation, we are stopped even before we record a statement from somebody who you know very well are stolen from Kenyans. You know very well, and all Kenyans know, we are pursuing this person, and it's not something we're imagining. We all know, and we cannot lie to ourselves, surely, and everything can show, but we are stopped even before questioning that person. And when we receive some of those orders, like another one which I received just the other day, I was not even at the stage of even pursuing that person whatsoever. Then when the orders came, I read them very well. Do not use the door to go and arrest Mr. Hay. Then I said, okay, why is this preemptive? Then I said, fine, I consulted my regular advisors, they are here. And then I said, no, through my information, there is a window. If I cannot use the door to go and take Mr. Hay, then I'm going to use the window. And once I get through the window, I get a smoking gun, which is killing us. Just smoking, just immediately from murdering us Kenyans. When you steal from us, the hospital money, roads money, development fund for all this country, what do you think you are? You are not better than that terrorist you are battering there in the Dusit and other areas. Then, immediately, faithfully carrying our smoking gun, then what happened? We are told, don't dare, don't even bring this smoking gun here. Don't even touch that person. We are bad. Please listen to me. I have it here. Why don't you give me 10 minutes even to demonstrate I'm not malicious? Surely this is what I have. Then if I am, prove me within these 10 minutes. Nobody is ready to listen to us. What I can say is, thank you for prayers and support from Kenyans. I know very well that issue of mafia in Italy. It was completely almost replica, the capture of the mafia. The way the war was won, and the people's cry, they were wiped dry their tears. It was through the corrective working and bravery of their police, prosecution, and judiciary. When most of them, they are homicide, and then the police said, no, enough is enough. Our people have cried enough. Let's go to fight for our people. In as much some of them were still with the mafia. It was massacre. They said it's okay, let's die, but for the world cause of our people. The prosecution came on board and said, no, equally we hear the cry of our people. Let's join the war. They joined the police, the prosecutors. Then the judiciary came and said, no, then we shall not be left. they came on board, the war was won for their people, ultimately. We can say, equally in Kenya, we can take the cry of our Kenyans and say, this greed, these millions we are stealing every day, start them in bank, there are papers, we shall read them in this world. Let us say what is enough for us is what God has given us. And the moment we say collectively, we are going to fight this war together, I can for sure tell you, this country is beautiful, it has plenty for each and every one of us. And I can for sure we shall have peace of mind. And even during our last days when they do come, even that billionaire and all that, you will be smiling knowing if there is heaven, me I'm a Christian, I believe there is one. At least then have a space after the one hereafter. So that one is to say, continue supporting us, praying for us. We shall do our level best, and we shall give all that we have for the sake of our motherland. Thank you.
Welcome back, viewers. I can agree no more with the DCI director that indeed at the center of all this drifting apart lies the war against corruption. I therefore submit to you that it is the war against corruption that has drifted Kenya apart. There are those who would like to be audited. There are those who would not like to present themselves for the audit, for the life audit. And there are those who have benefited out of the loopholes through the tendering system, procurement system, that they wouldn't like those loopholes to be sealed. There are those who continue to earn huge amounts of money through rent-seeking operations and the kickbacks. Many of these scandals are now before the court. Some have not gone to court. The biggest thing that the president should have done for us to gain credibility on the war against corruption is for His Excellency to stand firm and check most of the ministries and departments where this rot is coming from, where this syndrome, the symptoms, the root causes of this drifting apart by Kenyans. Is it coming from the ministries, parastatals? Where is the corruption coming from? Who are these who are bent on creating every day a scandal, a scandal, a scandal, a scandal? Why is there no power at the center? Where has the authority gone? Who is diluting the power at the center? These are very serious questions. If you elected a president whom you said you entrusted with the constitution and the sword, why are people breaking the sword into two parts? Who is breaking this sword? What is the end game for those who want to break the authority of the president? Why is the authority of the president of the Republic of Kenya reaching a stage of despondency where the president says, don't go this way, you say tomorrow I'm going that way? Why? What has been planted amongst the people of Kenya? Is it the money? Is it the looted money that is making people fail to see the truth? Fail to see 5 years ahead that you need unity. You need the handshake. You need to be part and parcel of this national cohesion so that you can be a leader of that same country. You can't lead stones. You will not lead graves. You have to lead people. You have to build a foundation for the same 5 years or 10 years to come. I don't care who wants to take the leadership. I'm not bothered. I'm speaking from a point of experience that you must prepare a journey. There are several ways of preparing your journey. You can prepare your journey quietly, or you can prepare your journey early, which can be disastrous. In politics, 1 day is as good as 5 days or 5 years. One action in political science changes, alters the direction. So those who have ears hear that early planning does not mean a success to achieving the goals that you want to achieve in 10 years to come. I want to thank you all, those who have listened, whatever you have picked out of this discussion. Use it, call a friend. And before I go, I want to say a few words to thank a few those, and for those who would like maybe to be abusive, I'm not bothered. I'm speaking my mind. Take it or leave it, it's up to you. Tomorrow, all of us will ask each other the same questions. Tomorrow, the seeds that you are sowing today of discord are the same seeds that we saw in 2007 being so, planted all over the whole country. The type of hatred amongst people, the stereotyping, the type of xenophobia of calling people seem to be embedded in one group of people who intend or who tend to be talking about leave my place, leave my place, leave my place. There is that syndrome amongst some people. But we want to say the truth, that if we continue on the route that we are continuing on, there is nothing that will come out but only tears. Thank you very much, viewers. That is the People's Court. The People's Court is here again tomorrow, the same time. In the morning, we shall have on international scene our satellite systems. Believe me or not, most of the satellite, these DSTVs are not working. But when you tune to our satellite system, we don't break, whether it is rain or sunshine. I'm sorry, those who are paying for their DSTV now, I'm not decampaigning DSTV, but sorry, including myself, I have no value. It has not added any value to my bedroom because it is all the time breaking. So tune to our Punchline Africa TV satellite system that brings direct the information from China as agreements are being signed. We don't need to have a correspondent in China. We only direct our satellite straight to China, and we pick the information from China. I want to thank all of you. God bless you. We meet again. This station, therefore, before we leave, I would like to leave you with an advert to know that we are always around. we are always around. And that's how we started this where we are. Millions of viewers worldwide learn something from us every day. Those who don't learn, or those who pretend, thank you very much, because it is not us to judge whether you are pretended or you really pretend, or you intend to avoid the same. Thanking you very much. This station, therefore, I leave it with an advert that started this show. Thank you.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are
Yes.
deviant and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.